What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Sunday. I was actually just going to chill today, but I was working on a new intro. I was actually back at my desk for like 48 hours or less, so it's nice to be around my stuff. So I figured, why not do a live with all of you guys? That way we can talk about some things, and I actually have my stuff, and I can get to it really quick. Want to let you guys know that I went ahead and purchased what I thought I would be purchasing is the old school Chinese, pencils that you put the lead behind it, push it up, and you get a new piece of lead. Like, you guys remember these? Well, I thought I would have to purchase all of this, and I got all of these donated. It's like laddie pencils. Anyways, welcome to the Transparency. Moderators, love you guys. Subscribers, members. I've been growing out my hair, so it's getting harder and harder to put all this hair in a hat. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember these pencils, but I got pink and blue. I just like finding old school stuff. But here, check it out. I got a good one for you guys today. Show us the hair, Lana.
Honestly, I feel a little bit lucky knowing that we have somebody and there's a person of interest.
Why is that?
We just like a little bit understaffed.
Oh yeah.
We've been looking for people, but no one.
Yeah, well, and we're getting to the end of the school year, so all the students are trying to get out of town and they don't want jobs. Yeah. So are you front of house or back of house? Okay, cool. Do they treat you pretty good then? Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, Enon, right?
Yeah. What?
Yep. Long time no see. How are you doing?
What? Pretty good. How about you?
Good. Thank you for asking. Well, you know me. I'm Officer Harkins. Do you have the driver's license, proof of insurance, and vehicle registration? Excellent. And do you know why I stopped you?
No.
So I saw your hand near your face. I wasn't sure if that was cell phone or if you were just scratching. Were you on the cell phone?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, that's just fine. I'll just grab your information from you. The driver's license, the proof of insurance, and the vehicle registration. You got it. Funny. I was wondering if I'd ever see you while I was working. Hopefully not.
Yeah, right?
But just a traffic stop is about as low-key as it can get.
What? Check this out, right?
That looks like that'll be the registration. And you have the proof of insurance as well. Lovely. Whoops, sorry. Tell you what, you keep looking for that and I'll get my side of things done and rolling and then I'll be right back with you, okay?
They gon' do shit. they gon' do? What they gon' do? What they gon' do? Started. What's up? Hell no, you ain't gon' fuck. All that yapping out your mouth. Go get your
Code 4. Driver to Washington.
446, go ahead.
West of Harsh, Henry, Adam, Robert, Sam, Henry.
Moscow 157.
Ida, Nora, Adam, Nora. Little A, Adam, date of birth, 01.
Got it 1122 Queen Road. Yes. That's hilarious. Like you, as soon as they know it's the cops, everyone does the same thing. They're like, they just like blend into the darkness.
It's a normal day.
This is regular day. We spend a lot of time doing this. Some students are here.
That's a girl.
Yeah.
The girl answering the door at her market.
I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, what is up, guys? Welcome to the transparency.
Did they?
I can go get them real quick.
Trulies? This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really? Just ditched it? Awesome.
Those ones kept walking in the car and the other one, woo-hoo, around the back one.
Nice. Truly's for the win. I hear music. I can't tell where it's coming from. Same people as before?
No, this is something weird. They're in the back.
I think it's the same one.
Huh?
I think it's the same one. $40.78. It's going to be this 1222, or correction, 1122 Queen Road up here.
Right there, another officer, every police officer in Moscow, Idaho, thought this was 1122 Queen Road. It's common for locals. So think about it. How would you know that it's not Queen Road and in fact King Road? Who would know the difference? I mean, you have law enforcement that thinks that this is 1122 Queen. In fact, that's how yours truly over here with myself and Bella were able to say, you know what? Let's put a request in for 1122 Queen Road instead of King. And that's how we obtained stuff that nobody else could. Because we listen, we have that intuitive, I guess you could say, nature. We think outside the box. But more importantly, these officers are calling stuff in as 1122 queen. Like no one's calling it king. These officers are calling it queen. All of them. Every single one of them. There is not an officer out there that refers to this house as 1122 king. So I implore you to think about that. If you don't live here and you saw the road and you turn and you see queen, you're going to think that this is in fact queen. Okay. The only way, in my opinion, that you would think that this is 1122 king is if you pay bills, is if you are privy to that information to know that it's actually this. Okay. So with that said, you really need to think about it. If a 911 caller calls in and they know that it's Queen Road or King Road versus Queen Road, think about it. If somebody that's calling in a noise complaint, because this was the second noise complaint and it was called in as 1122. This one right here was, well, we're going to get to that because it's kind of complicated. Because I went back and checked some stuff out because of the band field cameras. I found the vehicle, by the way, and I'm going to show it here today. I found the vehicle that was on the band field cameras. Sure did. Thought about when I should drop this bomb. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling it. Let's do it. Here we go. Wanted to point out what the officers refer to this property as. Want to show you where officers park and then walk. Want to show you, just go back to everything that this channel put out from the beginning. And people could say, why are you going back to that? Because it all matters. Because something that you saw back in December, if you view it now, you're going to feel differently about it based on everything that's come out. So you always go back to the beginning. You always go back to the beginning. Because people may think that I don't try to, play devil's advocate with myself, or that I think that I'm always right. Unfortunately, that's not true. I will stay up all night if it takes that long, whatever it takes. But before I put something out, I internally, who wants to come out and make a fool out of themselves? If you do, then you have no personal pride. But to me, it matters. And the 1122 king versus queen matters. Kaylee said that she lived at 1122 king before she ever lived there, a whole year before she ever lived there, versus 1122 queen. Okay. You're going to know the difference. How do you know the difference though? The cops think it's 1122 queen. The cops think, every single cop, go listen to every single body cam that we've put out. There is not a cop out there that's referring to this house as 1122 king. You have to have some type of knowledge. Okay. And that could be from your friend saying, oh my God, guess what house we got? We got the 1122 king house that the fraternity guys had for a couple of years. We took it over. Sure. But I even think that somebody, until they live there, until something's in their name there, they're going to refer to it as what the street name says it is. It says it's queen. So you're going to have to know that on some type of level. So the 911 caller that morning, when they have to tell them where they are, that's going to be interesting to me. That's going to be very, very interesting to hear where and how this 911 caller, if there is anybody on the line, how they describe the address.
What? Check this out, right?
Again, guys, welcome to Truth and Transparency. Let's. I am going to be dropping the link. You guys are going to have 3 minutes. We're going to hear what you have to say, why you have to say it. It could be anything that you have heard from the beginning of this case till right now. But there are a couple of things I want to show, and then we'll get right into that. The first thing being, I'm going to show you the vehicle from the Banfield for the Banfield camera that night. So that's the first thing I'm going to show you guys. Again, thank you, moderators, for being here, members, subscribers. If you are not a subscriber or member, all you gotta do is click that notification button. You'll become a subscriber automatically. If you want to be updated, again, hit the little bell, do your thing, shake it down, put your thumbs on the up or down thumb. You have an opinion, make yourself known. I will never tell somebody to hit the thumbs up. You have an opinion, make yourself known. This is Boston's favorite song. She plays this for me every night before I go to bed. She's like, what the hater's going to do? Shit. I'm just having fun on a Sunday. All right, guys, here we go. Andy says, Lana, do we know which joint the MPD believes in the actual 1122 King Road? I have Payne saying it's 1122 Queen. Every body cam that I have says, any officer that I've ever had refers to it as 1122 Queen until reports are printed up. So, but hopefully that answers which house. Hopefully that answers that question. It is Queen. I think it's King. Who knows, right? King, Queen, it's all the same, right? I just think it's interesting who calls it what and why they call it that. The 911 caller on that particular video that you guys just saw, the 911 caller called it in and they gave the address. So to sit there and say that you don't know where the music's coming from, that's a complete fucking lie. The 911 caller called it in. So it is what it is. You understand that? Like so these officers that were walking up to say that they don't know where the music's coming from, they parked at the beginning of the road. It was a call in. Okay. It wasn't like you were driving around and you heard music and you pulled off the side of the road. That's not why they were over there. They were over there because they got a call. And the caller said the address that they said. And so then you're going to go ahead and type that into your GPS, and you're going to go right over to where you think you need to go. But to say that you don't know where it's coming from, I find that hard to believe when somebody called it in and told you where you're going, because they called in a noise complaint. And that was the night that there was another call at 8. So that was the night that Payne had a ride-along. I think it's imperative, if you go back and watch the video that I put out a long time ago in December, you see Payne's body cam the whole time. Watch that whole body cam. That's Payne. So think about we're dealing with a very immature person. Payne's very immature. I have no problem saying that. Listening to somebody chuckle it up with a ride along. I think if anything, that's when you need to be on your best behavior when you have a ride along. And I just felt like it was the opposite way. So that'd be like me having and training somebody for any of the companies that I've ever owned and ran, and thinking I'm going to jerk around when I'm, training somebody. That's actually when you're like on your best behavior, you would think. But again, it is what it is. So here you go. I'm going to bring up, it's I'm going to show you guys what the car was on the band field camera. And that is what it is. All right, here we go. So this was the video that was seen right outside the gas station. Okay. That they try to like put another car over and do those things. Okay. When they did that, you could, what they tried to put over the vehicle, in my opinion, was an extended more back, a back area. And if you actually look at, people thought it was like it could be possibly be like a Tesla. It's not an Elantra, and no, it's not a Tesla. But here, that's kind of what you see. All right. Up above, you're going to see, this is like it taken from the camera angle of everything that you guys have seen. See it's like a rack on top. You guys see that? You guys see that rack on top? Racks on racks on racks. You guys see that vehicle? You guys see racks on racks on racks? Huh! Again, take a look here. Right there. There it is. 680 Steiner Avenue. I believe that is in the PCA. Okay. Let's take a look. No rack there. They tried to overlay it.
What's up? Hell no, you ain't gon' fuck all that shit. What? What? Check this out, right? Yeah! Motherfucking East Side boy. What?
Oh boy. Oh boy, 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 boy. All right, so that's bomb number one today is I believe that right there, there's your car. I believe it for numerous reasons, but I believe that it's enough, regardless if a jury was to see. It's definitely reasonable doubt on what that car could possibly be. There it is. Then you're going to see who lives there, what they were doing. Maybe you can get some historical data, on their cell phones and see where they were driving around and what they were doing. Again, I'll leave that all up to you guys. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is this probable cause that was used. It was the affidavit that was used for the Brian Colbert, his person. This was given to Pennsylvania. That was used at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in it, on page, it doesn't even give a page number, it says that on December 23rd, 2022, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I just like to play rap music. I like all types of music. I just like that song. I'm a huge Little Kim, Cardi B, Little John fan. I think they're funny. Like, who would ever think that you can make millions of dollars by saying, okay? I just think it's funny. And the whether or not they still have the money or not, but that's on them. Let's just go ahead and do this, though. I'm going to go ahead and make, I'm going to bring in Hector the projector, make our lives easier. What do we got here, Hector? Bring it in. All right, here we go. I'll zoom in for you guys. Got a question here about this though, but we'll come back to this page though in a second when I want to show you guys this. On Wednesday, December 28th, 2022, the Pennsylvania State Police was requested to assist the Moscow Police Department. So put that date in your back pocket, which was December 28th, and the FBI. Okay, so Pennsylvania State Police was under the impression that they're not only helping Moscow, but they're helping, obviously, the FBI with a homicide investigation, which occurred on Sunday, November 13th, 2022. As part of this investigation, we reviewed reports and affidavits prepared by the Moscow Police Department. I'm curious of the reports that they reviewed, and I'm sure Ann Taylor is as well. Establishing probable cause for the issuance of search warrants related to this investigation, which are included in this affidavit of probable cause as Exhibit A. Furthermore, and see, remember what I told you guys about this, is they have to get really, really careful about, unless they totally redacted what we got, but these are completely different Exhibit A's. There's like 4 Exhibit A's. Furthermore, investigators began physical surveillance of the property and area of 119 Lambston Drive. Across the street from Lambston 119 is property that belongs to a Susan Payne, an FBI agent. An FBI agent lives across the street from Brian Kohlberger's parents' house. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, but now you guys are. Okay, so again, in the early morning hours of Tuesday, December 27th, 2022, they say just investigators began physical surveillance. Now, how I was able to determine that it was not Pennsylvania State Police is because Pennsylvania State Police in the paragraph above says on Wednesday, December 28th. That is when the Pennsylvania State Police was requested to assist the Moscow Police Department. Okay, so the next paragraph, when they say that on Tuesday, December 27th, that there were investigators that began physical surveillance of the property, I do not believe those were PSP because they were not brought in until the 28th. Does everybody see that? Again, I'll zoom in. Very important here. Okay. Right here. Here's the date. December 28th. That's your date for PSP. Furthermore, investigators began physical surveillance of the property, and they did that beginning on Tuesday, December 27th. So who are those investigators? Okay. That's why I believe it was the FBI. Okay. It's definitely not blurry on my end. So now, additionally, Kohlberger, the vehicle was observed entering the Indian Mountain Lakes development on December 16th. Everybody's been wondering, like, when? Okay. December 16th. Now go ahead and see how long it takes you to get from Idaho to his parents' location. But I'm going to make your job a little easier. Go ahead and look at the landmark of where the State Highway Patrol in Indiana pulled Brian Kohlberger over, and the timestamp on that and the date and everything like that, and you can break it up even better. So he arrives back at and entering it December 16th, and the vehicle is still believed to be on the premises. Investigators are also monitoring Kohlberger's cell phone Okay. We have not seen, I want to take a look at that again, to be monitoring the cell phone. Not saying that they didn't get all that, but it's interesting, which appears to be in the same vicinity of the residence. On Wednesday, December 28, 2022, while conducting surveillance, investigators observed Kohlberger traveling throughout Monroe County and arriving back at his residence on the 119 Lamson Drive. Based upon this, and your defendants believe that Kohlberger is located inside the residence and in possession of items related to the investigation, your defendants are requesting a search warrant be issued for the search and seizure of all items listed in the items to be searched, along with the forensic processing of all items. Your defendants are requesting all digital devices seized by forensically examined in a controlled environment at some future date and until such examinations are complete. Now, remember, Exhibit A. This is the Exhibit A that they gave. This is the version of the Exhibit A. Okay. And I went through it, and it would all seem like it's the same. I want to point this out to you guys. Okay. Which is on the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Canoodle are seen by Funk at the Sigma Chi House on the University of Idaho campus, approximately 9 p.m. On November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. Bethany also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Canoodle returned to the King Road residence. Well, I mean, I get that it's close, so. Now, Kaylee and Maddie were at a local bar, the Corner Club, in Moscow. Kaylee and Maddie can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Maddie and Kaylee can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck. Now, this is where the family is like, something is up with the video surveillance at the Corner Club because the time is not accurate. Something's off with the time. Okay. So you see that at approximately 1:30 a.m. They can be seen on video at a local food vendor. All right. Now, remember the issue that they were having is that, something seems off there. I don't know, maybe the cameras didn't get turned back because of the week before it was a daylight savings time. Okay. So does that mean that the still footage that we got, the picture of Jack D allegedly, being hauled around Maddie and Kaylee, is that in fact 12:30 and not 1:30? Remember that the girls wanted to go to another place and Jack D wanted to go home because he was tired. Okay. That would mean that there's an hour missing from 12:30 to actually 1:30. Moving on. You can't be at two locations at the same time. Now, okay, based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime, or turning their cellular telephone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was actually in a particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will survey an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime, depending on the circumstances. This could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. Now, this is just language, in my opinion, that's going to get torn to shreds. Okay. Right here. On December 23rd, 2022, I have a question. If the FBI is following Brian, okay, and they were following him when he left, okay, so here we go. Think about this, okay. Basically, the day that he leaves, or possibly I would probably say like the day, well, he probably left on the 14th. But on December 15th is when there is this a shootout, and a guy by the name of Brent Kapaka is just literally, nobody's hurt except for him, and he was shot and killed. Okay. And there was this alleged that he had threatened his roommates, that he had threatened to kill his roommates. What if Brent didn't live there? Does that mean that he would have threatened to kill like just people in this room? But anyway, you want to slice and dice it, at the end of the day, Brent's shot and dead. Okay. And none other than on the day, or possibly the day after, okay, more probably like the day after, that Brian and his dad began their journey to leave the area. Okay. And immediately, law enforcement was asked in Moscow if that had anything to do. I mean, we just had roommates being slaughtered in the house. And then here a month later, almost to the day, we have a guy that's threatening to kill roommates, but then he gets shot because we're able to get SWAT there in time. But yet we find out that he let everybody go. And then he was killed. Okay. So again, this happens. You know, Brian's there all the way until boom, he leaves, and then this happens. No. I'm just making sure everybody knows that's watching. So if they're watching Brian drive beginning of 14th or 13th or I'll get 15th, whatever day you want to say, and they know where he's going and they're watching him travel, whether or not people, do you think it happened? Do you not think it happened? My question is why would you be following Brian before he would be on your radar? Okay. Why would you even know where Brian is if he's not on your radar? All right. So here we go. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, sorry, I want to make sure that we read that again, is that on December 23rd, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. Right? Wait, how were you granted this? Based on what? Do you think that he possibly did all of this research on Brian to know that, let's see. Look at this. On November 25th, they let everybody know, hey, this is what we're looking for. Okay. They find it. This vehicle technically on the 29th. They give dates here, but yet they tell law enforcement to look for just any Elantra versus what the public was told. So we were all told dates. They're told just they don't give dates, or at least he doesn't write in the PCA. Then the next thing that happens is that same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., another officer finds the vehicle. So two people find the vehicle within 20 minutes. Okay. They both run back things and it returned to Kohlberger with the Washington tag. I reviewed Kohlberger's Washington State driver's license information photograph. This license indicates that Kohlberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohlberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Okay. Ready? Kohlberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male Mortensen saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. What if I was to tell you that what if Mortensen's description of that male was in fact not inside the house, okay, but outside the house? Very important word there is that with the description of the male Mortensen saw inside the house, inside the King Road residence, okay? Was Mortensen inside when she saw the person, but they were really outside? Okay. If she looked out her window, Mortensen saw somebody. She was inside though, but the masked person was outside. Again, I reviewed Kohlberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohlberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohlberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohlberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male Mortensen saw inside the King Road residence. Well, my first question is Dylan, where were you located when you saw this person? Were you inside? Was the person with the mask inside or outside? And I have a feeling that people saw masked people outside the house. Mortensen was inside, right? Mortensen said that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the south side of the second floor. Mortensen stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Dylan, where does Kaylee usually play with her dog? Outside in the backyard. Do you have a chain that you use to tie up Murphy outside so that Murphy can just like run around out there because it's not fenced in? Yeah, we do. So normally Kaylee plays with Murphy outside. Does she throw the ball? Would she ever throw the ball to Murphy outside? So could it be possible that you heard Kaylee playing with Murphy outside? Your bedroom window is right outside where you guys chain up Murphy. Again, which were located on, Mortensen stated that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Mortensen stated that she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, Mortensen said she heard who she thought was Kaylee saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." So once again, if you don't know for sure if Kaylee was upstairs or could have been outside because she normally plays with the dog outside, correct? So could she have been outside playing with Murphy? And could this technically be maybe, are you set on the 4 o'clock time? Could have been earlier. They're going to do their magic and get that up there. So when you heard, because your window is right, that's where where's your bed located? Is your bed located? Where's your headboard? Is it up against the wall that has the window? That has, okay. So if you could clearly hear somebody say there's somebody here, how would Kaylee see somebody here if she was upstairs in the bedroom? How would you be able to hear that? Was it like screaming? Did she scream it? Okay. Or if you could hear it, like it's got to be pretty close. So is it possible that Kaylee said that someone's here? Were you notified by Kaylee that there was a masked man outside at all that night? By Maddie or anybody? You know, those Sigma Chi guys, they like to play jokes on people. And we have a bunch of reports here of people dressing up like cops and trying to like come up to people's, houses. We can show you guys these reports of that, people calling in. So you would know the difference between Maddie's voice and Xana's voice and Kaylee's. And how do you know that she would have been playing with like Murphy versus like, could that have been something that you saw outside when she took out Murphy to go to the bathroom when they got back? You said that everybody didn't go to their rooms until 4. So that would be consistent with like that Maddie and Kaylee didn't go to their rooms until 4. So if you woke up at 4 and you heard what you thought was Kaylee playing with her dog, was she outside playing with her dog? That she took her dog out to go to the bathroom because it's a puppy? And puppies have to go to the bathroom all the time, don't they? Mortensen stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the home. Isn't that because Kaylee was making that comment when she was outside of the house? That when you looked out your door, you didn't see anybody because Kaylee was actually outside playing with her dog? Did you look out your window or did you look out your door when you first looked out? Mortensen stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Kaylee didn't say that she said that she heard somebody being in the house. You heard the comment that she said that someone's here? There's somebody here. There's no, the terminology that you used was not that there's somebody in the house. Wasn't that correct? The terminology is that there was somebody here. Okay. And you don't know if Kaylee was upstairs or outside. And where's your bedroom again? Do you have your window open at all? Do you smoke weed in your house? Do you smoke cigarettes in your house? Do you ever have your window open? Do you have a screen door? Want to double check here. Mortensen stated she looked out of her bedroom, but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. That's actually not what you heard. You heard right here, you say something to the effect of, there's someone here. Isn't that like, you heard her say that there's someone here, not that there was somebody in the house, correct? Well, I mean, officer wrote it down like this. So somebody here, that is not somebody in the house versus somebody here. When you heard this comment, did you actually see Kaylee say it? Again, just want to make sure we see that right there. A short time later, Mortensen said she heard what she thought was Kaylee say something to the effect of, there's someone here. Then the pure conjecture of the officer says a review of the records obtained from a forensic download of Xana's phone show that this could also have been Xana. And I think this is really important because guess why? Let me tell you why, guys. Okay. Because I think in court, what's going to come out about all this stuff is Murphy being taken out and about Maddie and Kaylee being outside at the last time that Dylan saw Maddie and Kaylee is when she took out the dogs or the dog. And where does Murphy and Kaylee usually play? They usually play outside. That's a puppy. Okay. So the dog, you could take a dog outside, guys. Okay. And guess what happens? They don't pee and poop for you. And you're like, shit, they didn't pee and poop. If I don't take them out again, they're going to piss and poop in my room. I don't want that. So if you pay attention to your dog, they let you know things. Okay. So Dylan heard Kaylee's voice. Okay. Dylan would know the difference between Kaylee, Santa, Ethan, Maddie. This is pure conjecture. Okay. They want you to get away from this, and you're going to see why. They want you to focus on that. Well, we're going to go based off of the phone records. And since Kaylee's phone wasn't on anymore, you can't have it both ways. Then you're going to go to here, which is Kaylee never said that she saw somebody inside the house. She said to the effects of, there's someone here. Is it possible that Kaylee said that when she was outside and that you overheard that from her being right outside your bedroom window? Is that possible? How do you know for sure that Kaylee was upstairs when you heard that? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I've said a bunch of things. Mortensen stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything. She looked out of her bedroom, what? Her window, her door. They don't say anything there. Mortensen stated she opened her door a second time. But when she heard the voices, did she look out her window? Because she may have opened her door a second time. Okay. But when she heard the voices, did she look out the window instead? Morton says she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Xana's room. So at no time do you talk about like the stairs. Did you hear people going up and down the stairs? So that's even more of a reason to think that this could have been outside your door. Because if Kaylee was, you would hear somebody go upstairs. How loud are the stairs when someone goes up the stairs? Did you hear anybody going up the stairs? Then she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." And now that male voice, was it Ethan? You would know what Ethan's voice sounds like. Do you think that it was Ethan's? Mortensen said she opened her door for the third time. I'm sorry. When you heard the effects of "it's okay, I'm going to help you," is that when you called to make sure that the people were okay? When did you text your roommates? Why did you text them? Isn't it because you were told that there were masked men outside your house that night? Haven't you been told before that there's been masked men outside your house? So seeing a masked man anywhere ever is it's not a big deal for you because the Sigma Chi and the other fraternities like to play jokes on people. So when you opened up your door here a second time is when you thought you heard crying. Did you hear the crying before you opened the door though? So what made you open your door a second time? You opened it because you thought you heard crying, but you really didn't. Because here you said a short little while, Morrison said she thought she heard what she thought was something that's if there's someone here, a review of the records. It could have been Xana, but then you're laying in bed. Morrison said she looked out of her bedroom. That could have been from the window, not just the door. When she heard the comment about someone being in the home, but that's not what you heard. You heard that there's somebody here. And that could have actually been from somebody outside of the house saying that there's somebody here. Who is saying that from when they were outside of the house, not inside the house? How would somebody that was inside the house, pitch black, if they're not standing by the window, be able to remotely say that there's somebody here? You have to be able to see somebody to be able to say that there's somebody here. So that could have came from outside of your window because you have it's right next to that window, your bed. Okay, perfect. And nobody says that they're inside the home. They just say that there's somebody here. They don't ever say that there's somebody inside the home. Was it inside or outside? Doesn't matter. Absolutely matters. Absolutely matters. If somebody was outside and they say that they saw somebody while they were outside, absolutely matters. 100 matters. No. You never told them that you thought that the person in the mask was the murderer. They just assumed that. Is that what I'm gathering here? You didn't say that. You didn't witness anybody harming anybody that night, right? Or did you? They were just assuming that you saying that you saw somebody in a mask. Oh, well, that had to be the killer, right? But did anybody else see that masked man before you? Who else saw the masked man, Dylan? Who else said that they saw masked men that night before you said that you saw a masked man? Isn't it true that there was multiple people that said that they saw a masked man that night? Isn't it true that 2 or 1 or 3 or 4 of the victims said they saw a masked man that night? And so they would have said this before they were deceased. Isn't it true, Dylan, that other people in that home said that they saw a masked man that night? Where were they when they said that they saw that masked man? Isn't it true that they were outside when they said they saw the masked man or men? So if Kaylee and Maddie's phones did not operate past 2:52 a.m., did they see the masked man before that? Did you see the masked man before that? Did you see any masked man before everybody went to their rooms? So there were masked men at your house or outside of your house before Brian Colbert ever made it to that area by 3:29 a.m.? Dylan, do you have personal knowledge of there being masked men outside of your house before all of the roommates went to bed that night? So while any other roommates that were deceased, before they were deceased, did any other roommates say that they saw a masked man or men, multiple men, one man? Did any of your roommates say that they have ever seen a masked man? Do you think that your roommates would have lied to you? Right here. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received records for 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Brian, and that the account had been open since June 23rd, 2022. Go take a look at your Snapchats. Right here. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analyst Survey Team, CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to being certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST SA that I, meaning Payne, that I consulted with, has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone. Why wouldn't CAST and the FBI do it themselves? Why would you ask them about something? Payne? So you consulted with them, then you went back and looked at the data. And so you did this yourself. So you're not So this is your work. This is not the FBI's work. From information provided by Cass, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12, 2022 to November 13, 2022, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., boom. So who did this? Who's going to be taking the stand? Who's going to be taking the stand? So Payne's going to be testifying that he consulted with a special agent. I don't understand why the FBI wouldn't do this themselves, if that's what, I mean, they're trained in doing. And can somebody answer that for me? Remember the FBI agent that looked at the photos of the Elantra? And they said it was a 2011, 2013. Then they had to bring that back to them at some point and say, hey, are you sure, buddy, that you're not mistaken here? So again, it's just, can somebody explain to me why Payne would do this versus the FBI? Next. That makes no sense. So there's three things that you're going to take away from this. The first thing is that we found the car that was on the gas station camera. Rewind it back. Okay. Again, if you need to see it for the second time, I will put those up. Here you go. This is what you're looking at. This is what they tried to say. Okay. There's your vehicle. 68 Steiner Avenue, which is along the path of in the PCA. There you go. There's your vehicle. And then here is, let's see, right here. This is there you go. So a review of camera footage indicates that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. Mind you, the same time, you guys understand this, the you do understand this is the same time that the hybrid car was over there to get the guys with the sign. Same time. And westbound on right there, Steiner Ave at Idaho State Highway 95. On this video, it appears suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. And if you're honing in on this all, and it being Brian, but you have your masked men that are seen before this time by the people in the house, their case is blown, as well as this vehicle being tied to Steiner Ave, being seen on 2 different cameras, which would be the camera in front of, well, behind the band field footage, as well as over there by the mobile gas station. Again, here you go. There you go. This is what people try to put over it. There you go. Right up there.
Honestly, I feel a little bit lucky knowing that we have somebody and there's a person of interest.
Why is that?
We just like a little bit understaffed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We've been looking for people, but no one.
Yeah, well, and we're getting to the end of the school year, so all the students are trying to get out of town and they don't want jobs. Yeah. So are you front of house or back of house? Okay, cool. Do they treat you pretty good then? Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, Enon, right?
Yeah. What?
Yep. Long time no see. How are you doing?
What?
Pretty good. How about
Good.
you?
Good. Thank you for asking. Well, you know me. I'm Officer Perkins. You have the driver's license, proof of insurance, and vehicle registration? Excellent. And do you know why I stopped you?
No.
So I saw your hand near your face. I wasn't sure if that was cell phone or if you were just scratching. Were you on the cell phone?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, that's just fine. I'll just grab your information from you, the driver's license, the proof of insurance, and the vehicle registration. Got it. Funny. I was wondering if I'd ever see you while I was working. Hopefully not.
Yeah, wait.
But just a traffic stop is about as low-key as it can get.
What? What? Check this out, right?
All right, go ahead and hit that link. You guys have your 3 minutes. Here we go. Nana, can you tell us when the roommates moved into the inn at the end? Let's see. Make the 3 minutes count, peeps. All right, you just got hit with 3 bombs. So hopefully you guys took your notes. But basically at the end of the day, you got a car on the PCA street on video, 3 different ones that look, I mean, way more of a description there than this alleged other car that you just can't see. No one's ever seen. So but there you go. Suburb. Again, hit that link if you want your 3 minutes. If not, I mean, there's just a lot to take in. So is Sleuthy in here? Sleuthy needs to hit the link. Sleuthy, don't be shy, girl. Come on, hit that link, girl. Sleuthy, we got the university president living in that house at a point in his young career. We got lots of things. Sleuthy, you go. You guys, you just got to hit the link. Hi, what is up, Cindy? You don't have to keep yourself on camera if you don't want to. You can hit the little.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh,
I just
hi.
got back from the beach.
Oh, well, I wish I was you.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is what I want to say.
All right, I'm doing now.
Okay, bye. I think that Brian Koberger is definitely being whatever you call it. I don't think he's guilty. I think that
part of it.
Oh yeah, being set up for sure. And I think he's the one in the house. I think he was going to warn the girls. Okay. And he actually came into the house. I don't know how he got in there, but I think there were other people in there, and he hid and he watched all that happen. All the, killings.
Yeah.
And so I think he's the one that actually said, I'm here to help you. I also think he's the one that called 911. And that's why they're not, allowing any of this stuff out.
Yeah.
If it was, I'm positive he's the one who called 911. I think that DM and BF or whatever you call it. I think that Bethany was at her boyfriend's house in at Washington, and let's see, what else was I gonna say? And
Okay.
Bethany wasn't even there that morning, but I believe Kim, I believe Dave, and I also believe that they're gonna try to put this on Kopaka.
Some of my thoughts have always been that did law enforcement not realize that there were multiple people in that vehicle, and did they think that they got one of the guys, and then realize that, oh shit, there was another person, with him that night.
Yeah.
And that's where Brian, came into play. That, but I just I want to know how you got a historical data, how you were able to obtain that type of a search warrant. I want to hear that. I want to hear about that. I want to hear. I want to see what makes it in.
Oh yeah.
The courtroom. I want to see if there's anything that's suppressed. I want to see. I really I like the judge. So it sucks though, because it does get moved. I don't know if he would be going. I don't think it's going to be him, but I just think he made so many good points to say that this isn't a gag order. Everybody's wrong. This is not a gag order. This is a non-dissemination order. And no one's gagged you, because I believe that you and your clients have been talking to the media the whole time. This is a non-dissemination order. And I'm right there with you that things, they're going to make a PCA. It's designed to arrest who you want it to arrest. So I don't understand why there would be 3 different copies. I think that when you see Brian dressed all in a what do you call it, a suit and tie,
right,
that he comes across looking like a Fed to me.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
He looks like he's about to take this to testify.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, I just wanted to call and just give you my opinion. The gag order, I think that the reason that they have that gag order is so because everybody that's involved, especially the Moscow Police Department, they're the ones who were wanting the gag order. And I think the reason for that is because they know that they don't have the right guy.
Well, but there really is no gag order. It's a non-dissemination order. So that's what the judge kept trying to say to people, that this is a non-dissemination order. This is not, nobody's gagged. And I think that that's, interesting when you actually sit back and you think about that, because that's the truth. Basically what it's designed to do is that you can't take apart just like a piece of something and then just run with it. You have to have the whole thing. That's what that's about.
Right. Well, okay.
Well, thank you so much for
your time.
I appreciate you, Cindy. You have some balls where you come on, take the link whenever, girl.
I know. I got balls.
Hopefully you had a good trip. Did you have a good trip at the beach?
Oh yeah, went to Panama City. We have a condo there.
Nice.
And I had my grandbabies with me this time. Yeah. So I'm worn out.
You need a vacation for your vacation.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much.
My husband has to work tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much.
I feel for him. He's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Give it up for Cindy. She did great. Anybody else there? Here you go. Copy. Yeah. What do you guys think? At any point in time, what are your thoughts? tinted windows on that car. Tinted windows. 51 terabytes of evidence. That's not what that is. It's not 51 terabytes of evidence. It's discovery. That's discoverable material. And when you got all that mumble jumble stuff up, it's going to be interesting what they use. But that's not what that is. It's not 51 TBs of evidence against Brian Kohlberger. That's not what it is. It's discoverable material, which means during our investigation, you're coming across anybody that you interview that goes in discovery. Anything that you come across that has to do with this case, that is all that's being boom sent to him. So it's really unfortunate if people don't understand that, but them's the facts. That's discoverable material. All the body cams, I mean, you name it. Anything that they would have ever looked at if they went back and checked out body cam from like how we did it, and you got stuff from the past. Anything that these people did to come to, I think they searched. Went to Tindo's. Yeah. Do you guys know about that? 10,000. Sleuthy, what is up, girl? How you liking that YouTube? Hit the link, girl. I got to ask you something. You don't got to get on camera. Just hit the link. I got something for you. I got something for that ass. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Welcome to the transparency.
Hey.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great, Mrs. Lana.
Oh.
Great show so far.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. I've never been up here yet, but
so I get to pop your cherry. Woohoo!
I guess so. First time for the True Crime Cafe here.
There you go. So what's good? What do you think? How you feeling?
Same way we all are with this one, I'm telling you.
It's a scratcher, right?
Oh my god. Sleepless nights and plenty of notebooks.
Right.
That's all I can
Plenty
say.
of notebooks.
Yeah. So this car thing.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for, I don't know, God, there's a lot of people in here that come to my stuff too. For months, they can tell you it's been months. So, when did you come up with this? I'm just curious.
I think, well, and ever since they were looking for a vehicle that was looking like that, and once they saw that it was they use a stock photo and not an actual photo.
Yeah.
I said, there's problems. There's problems that you can't tell. Otherwise, You'd be showing it. Something is up. I've never heard of, the whole time I've ever, watched a documentary, been involved with true crime in any type of capacity, have I ever heard them say, we have a video or we have photo of something, but we're going to give you a stock image. That tells me that there's problems there. So it could be things that look like it, and I think that they didn't want the internet sleuths running, with things, because then you're talking, it's not just the internet sleuth. Let's just take that back. It would be anybody that could be subjected to be in the jury pool. So if jurors already have this, because it has never been put out there, so it's the first time it's going to be seen is in court, which means that they're going to have no opinion on what they could have possibly seen or somebody else could have possibly seen. And I think that was designed that way because I think that there's issues with it. Does that make sense? Like,
absolutely.
We don't all get to talk about and say that's totally not the vehicle. Here we found the vehicle. This is the vehicle, or like that you're just pointing out all these discrepancies. But they're going to hit a home run with the FBI. I mean, the FBI, they gave you 2 cars. Period. End of story. And you just need to hammer that. Because to me, but see, like to people that aren't like true crimers, like they're just, but you eventually, why did you do it? Oh, you did it because of this. Oh, you just made a mistake. It's okay.
You're right. I get
it. A guy with 15, the dates matter. So they needed, if they can hit a home run with voir dire, everybody should want to hit a home run with voir dire. Your jurors matter. Like that's what you want to like put your stock into if you're a defendant. You need the jury not to be a bunch of fucking idiots. Sorry, but that's
I
just
can agree. No, I can agree. Absolutely.
they. So that's how I feel about it. I would be focused on the voir dire.
Yeah. No, I got you. I'm right there. I get it. And the card thing got me because a long time ago I was doing overlays with this and doing that with that stupid picture and back and forth and that, and I knew it wasn't. At least I've always felt that it wasn't.
You're spot on.
You know what I mean? I always, and at one point I was one of those weirdos that said it kind of looks like a Tesla because my neighbor has a Tesla that's white and it looked just like it.
No, it does. It does.
But and then my wife was sitting there with me one day and she's like, "Hey, hon, what that looks kind of like it could be a Prius." And I'm like, "No, there ain't no Prius in it." Here we are. So it is what it is.
And then you find it here, right? This is where the PCA is telling you where it's at. You know what I mean?
Which imagine that something in the PCA being right.
Well, I just imagine that like so all you're gonna do is show that this car goes that car uses that street multiple times a day.
Right. No, I got you. Absolutely.
So
now my biggest thing, I just wanted your opinion, like if you want to put it out there truthfully, like what do you think is going to happen with the car? Do you think they're going to get anything out of the car personally?
I think if they don't, so problematic.
Yeah.
Like if anybody out there is going to say that it's not, shame on you. Like give me blood of the victims in that vehicle. Now we're talking about getting the right person. But if there's not, after talking with Scott Roeder, he said it's easier to plant blood than it is to clean up blood.
Oh yeah.
And hearing that, it makes me want to say like, that should have been every reason that when you came across his name in his car, you should have tried to do anything that you could have to talk to him and to get in that vehicle that's that important.
Right. No. Yeah. I think we're all on the same page with that we know that if they don't come up with something in that car, it's done, in my opinion. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think the other thing is that I don't know, why it would be, I don't know who they were looking at. I don't know if they were looking at somebody else. I don't know any of that. But I think that for you to sit here and say that a guy would shut his phone off, but maybe wouldn't the other times, but yet he's planning this and he's a cloud-based forensic person. He's going to think everything through, but then you're going to tell me that he's going to make laps in a vehicle on camera multiple times. You want me to believe that? I'm going to sit here and tell you that, no, I don't think Brian had a moment that he totally forgot what the fuck his mission was. I think he knew the assignment if you're saying that he's the guy. And then therefore that vehicle, a cop never parks right by where they're going. They park so many houses away on different streets.
Right.
And Brian would know that. And so why wouldn't he do the same thing? And if you're telling me that he's cased this place, then he knows where the cameras are. So it's, I don't give a shit about circumstances right now.
Right.
I believe that there should be blood in that vehicle.
I agree. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100% on everything you just said. For sure.
And there be people say like, oh, he bleached the car. Well, guess what, guys? There's going to be residue of bleach all over.
Exactly. They're going to know that. They're going to know that. Right. Yeah.
And then Brian's going to have to prove that, listen, I bleach my car every week because I'm OCD. And here you go. I've been purchasing bleach for like the past 3 years because I wear gloves on my hands. I'm a germaphobe. I've always been a germaphobe. I'm just saying like this is.
And of course they don't say those things because they don't want you to look at it that way. They want you to look at it as in he bleached his car because he's a serial killer or whatever. You know what I mean? That's how they want you to see it. That's what's wrong with this, the whole thing.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
When everyone says there's all this overwhelming evidence, and I'm over here like,
where? I haven't seen it. That's my biggest problem. We've been talking about that for months now because they haven't shown. That's my biggest. You can ask. There's a lot of people in here that come into my chat, like I said earlier, They know my biggest thing. I start pounding on my desk and yelling and screaming. Show me some concrete proof that this man was in this house and did this. That's all I want to know. Because there's nothing.
You have
There's absolutely nothing.
circumstances. You have circumstantial evidence right now, and you're basing it on
It's garbage.
like just ooh. I just you know what Scott also said is he said, where's the sweat? Could he have possibly dripped some sweat? What are we really talking about here? Was he wearing a mask? Did he have like just like a surgical mask on? Sweat. If
there should have been
you're
sweat.
doing all of that, there could have been sweat, not just blood, not just that he hit himself with like the knife to bleed, but what about sweat coming off of?
Absolutely. 4 people, and you got into my biggest thing was you had obstacles. We'll just say that it was him. Because I'm just for sake of this conversation, it was him. He goes in. First of all, the obstacle of Ethan that's twice his size and his strength, in my opinion, that took some time. That's going to break a sweat. And then I'm we know Xana fought back. That's going to break a sweat. And in my opinion, I believe that Kaylee fought back. Another, that, and these things are going to take time off of this ridiculous 9-minute period of time, quote unquote, that it supposedly took him to do this that I'll never believe. So, yeah, I can agree with all that too. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to hear.
But yeah, when you find this proof that they're all talking about, please share it with me because we've been looking for it for months, can't find it.
I want everybody that's involved, and I think that
Everyone.
I don't know why people don't believe this, but guys, if you truly don't think that the defense is going to be calling people that would be siblings and family members of the victims, that's coming. So anybody that thinks that that's not happening or that they're not going to be testifying, that's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, but how do you defend your client if you want to know? If you have personal knowledge of when did Kaylee move out of the house? How long has she been gone? Where has she been working? What has she been doing? Same thing with Maddie. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be asking these questions. These questions are so important.
And Taylor is a beast, and she is going to. She's going to blow it out of the water. Every single you guys saw in the PCA, and you see all these documents that they're requesting all this stuff on. She's going after everything she possibly can.
I think Brian's helping a lot with his defense.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that too.
I think he knows that I think if he did not do it, okay, he knows how he got railroaded, but it's going to be hard to prove it because something was up. You know what I mean? Yeah. What did he uncover? Things like that. Like if he's not the one, he has to figure out. He's like, okay, they went through the lengths, leaps, and bounds to,
who else has been arrested already? That comment. So
who else has been arrested? But we don't even know if he said that.
No, not for sure. But it almost fits with all this. I can almost believe that. Like, I have not felt from the beginning. I've screamed it out there that first of all, we know he didn't do this on his own if he was involved at all. Where's everybody else? That's what bothers me. Is because I know there's other people. I know there's other people in my mind, and I want to see who they are. And I know it's a strategy tactic per se. Why he's not saying anything. Why nothing else has been thrown out there. It is what it is. But at some point, these things are going to have to go down, you guys. And I just.
You know what else I feel like? Remember this whole like if Kaylee had a stalker, we would have known that Kaylee had a stalker.
Right.
So now we get to the point of like, okay, wait, we just arrested somebody that stalked them, but this whole time, like there was no stalker. We've done our due diligence. There's no stalker, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Just like they said, oh, Dylan slept downstairs. Well, they're allowed to say whatever they want in pressers like that. Mm-hmm. They're not held to that. That's not how this works. But I think Payne's going to struggle. I think Payne has,
yeah.
I've been looking to see who's been working in the body cams that we've had that we've requested after the homicides. I don't have any that have Payne in them. I don't have any reports with Payne. Right. I have no idea where Payne is. And not that I'm saying that I'm watching Payne, but he was in a lot of the ones before,
Yeah.
So I just cannot believe that when you look at the documents for him to say that he just consulted with cast, why wouldn't they just do it?
That's one of the questions of the hour. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like you've been with the Moscow Police Department for 2 years.
He should know better. He should just this should just be yeah. No, I agree. That should see these
I
things
guess why wouldn't Moscow just want to do it that way?
right, right. Well,
Um,
in my
I think
opinion,
that's what
nothing.
struggles for me.
Yeah, I get it, and nothing has been done, in my opinion, the way it should be done with this from the beginning. Um, I've got big issues with things that are just even remotely that are stupid. You know, I'm retired EMS and fire. Okay,
Mhm.
and I know what like standard operating procedure is and protocol and things like that on every scene that I've ever been on. Why was EMS not allowed in on this? You know what I mean? That was a big issue for me.
Yeah.
It told me a lot of people told made me feel like what are you hiding? You know, not to go in the hole because I'm not a conspiracy guy, but like something's just
Or just like maybe there was a mistake, but I do feel like
yeah
there's a lot of
yeah
young people. But like at the end of the day, the young people, they're the ones that are so like, guys, we gotta do this by the book. You know what I
yeah
mean? They're the
yeah.
ones that don't. Um,
No, I get it. Yeah, the
I,
newer guys and all so on and so forth. Right.
yeah, like it's like that's who was there minus Gunderson. He had been there for a while, but the other people were newer people. Um, I want to see. I'm going to be in that courtroom for the trial. I want to see
Good.
the body cam that shows me that. I want to see the body cam showing that sheath
Yeah.
because that sheath
Me too. Me too.
is everything. Because that sheath is what got him arrested. The arrest
That's it.
warrant
Yes,
was
ma'am. Right
you
there.
needed that. They wanted DNA, okay, and and they got it right.
Right.
Well,
Right.
the person that lived across the street from Brian Koberger, Susan Payne is an FBI agent. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
And this is no knock to Susan Payne because I actually read all about her. She's a
Right.
stud, like hands down. Shit, Susan Payne, come on my channel. Like she's done some amazing work. But I'm like, what are the odds that a woman that lives across from Brian Koberger is an FBI agent with the last name
With the last
Payne?
name Payne, right?
Female.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You
Just,
know,
just one more piece of crazy puzzle for this thing. It's crazy. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah.
But I'm glad you're going. I really am. Ohio.
Yeah, we were all set to be there for the preliminary hearing, and
That I can't make it, Danny. I'm in Ohio too, so I just
you
got.
are
Oh, I am. I'm down by Akron. Yeah.
okay.
So,
I'm actually trying because I always go back and forth Cleveland, Columbus. So my
yeah.
family, I grew up in Cleveland my whole life and born and
I'm
raised.
right in between Cleveland and Akron, right there. So
Oh, so are you? Well, we could talk off of people don't need to be doxing us,
that's
but
why I'm not going
we
there.
can do a meetup.
Absolutely.
I knew I liked you for a reason. Okay, Ohio.
That's
No,
right.
there's a lot of good true crime people that live in Ohio, actually.
I've been finding that out. I'm surprised. I mean, probably because we don't have nothing else to do because it is what it is. Goes to get out.
Yeah, I'm like when it rains, I'm like, okay, I'll go live today because it's raining. When it's sunny, I'm like, all right, I'm busy.
Right, I know. That's what we do. Ain't gonna no. Go Browns, bro. Go Browns.
Exactly. I told Daniel we're gonna bet on the Browns. So there's the 2 games this year.
Yes.
But we need to have like a true crime like Sunday mornings before like the kickoff of like the NFL.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that if we did like a true crime panel of like, we did like an hour show with like the different people from different channels, and then we all had to pick our teams that week. That way we had like a running total.
Right.
And then like, the channel that had like the most, correct games picked, they get something. They get like the Turkey Bowl each year.
Okay.
But we got to start like a tradition like that because that's what's fun. We
I'm
got to do
down
something
100%.
fun because we deal with so much stuff that's just not, like it's hard to talk about.
We got to break the monotony every now and then. That's why I do these these stupid well, not stupid. They're like jam nights. I'll just start playing music, have everybody come in and hang out and do our thing because it eats your brain, guys. I mean, it really does. You can't do this 5-6 days a week without breaking from it. It's hard.
Especially
it's
like
hard.
the people that cover the kids stuff. Like
Yeah.
That hurts me. I mean, I have a
Oh
little
yeah.
kid, so that's just hard.
Summer Wells was rough for me. Kelly Rodney was really hard for me. I mean, I lost sleep on that one. This one I've had issues with. So yeah, I get it.
I think what's been hard for me about this case is, the whole thing of like you're asleep, so like you can't even when it all came out about them being asleep.
Yeah.
How can you can't even defend yourself? You can't even like
No.
I didn't
No.
hear something, or you just think back to college and it's like, okay, what if one of my roommates forgot to lock the door that night? Like, gee, like it's not their fault. Like, come on, they made a mistake. They didn't.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got 7 kids, and they
What?
range. I got 7 kids. They range from 30 or 17 to 30. Okay, so I got kids in that age range, and it's hard to see. It's hard to think about. So I get it. And that's why this one slapped me in the face. It was harsh. It really was. 7 kids. 7 kids. Yes. Nobody believes it, but I do.
Wait, you said it was harsh.
It's harsh, like harsh to deal with.
That looks like that'll be the registration.
Oh no, not that creeper. This creeper here.
And you have the proof of
When it comes
insurance
at
as
my
well.
kitty, yeah. Dude, that video when you first did this.
Oh, about the cat.
Yeah, and I was sitting here laughing just as bad as you were.
I couldn't even contain myself.
You can't. This dude's a mess.
You know what though? Like he's literally. I think he is. I think he's harmless. I do.
I'm there with you.
I've had conversations, with him, and I know that sometimes people feel like, oh, well, then he inserted himself. Yeah, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I'm telling you right now, the dude is like he's not some like mastermind of
No.
Why do you think he's getting pulled over like this? And look at him, like he's a mess.
And you see him how he's looking at her. He's like, oh my God, she's talking to me. She never talked to me in the past.
Tell you what, you keep looking for that, and I'll get my side of things done and rolling, and then I'll be right back with you, okay?
Yeah, look right there. She talked to me again. Yeah. He kept that with him for the next 3 weeks. I promise you that.
Yeah, it's
this dude
definitely
is a mess. He has nothing to do with this, in my opinion. I've tried.
I do want to listen. I do want to hear out the whole like he saw a black SUV. People that are car people that will cut your it's. I also think like just because it's hit instantly. You know how like when somebody goes missing and then you're like, okay, can you think back to like a week or 2 ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't that type of a case for people that were in that area. It's like instantly.
Right.
And guess what? He's actually right. Him saying that like he heard about it at certain times. I went into the whole timeline. Him saying that he heard about it at like 1 or 2 or 3. He ain't lying.
No, I can agree with
people,
that. Yeah.
People gave him a hard time about that because they're like, no, that wasn't on until later. Not if you were following the Argonaut. The Argonaut, they were over there and started doing their stuff at like 2, I think obviously the Vandal alert went out, but they were starting to use their social media at 2:10.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why I have an issue with the whole Jack thing. I'm telling you, we have a picture of Jack walking up to go talk to an officer, and that is between 2 and what I believe 2 and 4. So it looks like him from behind, and
I mean,
I think I put it in my pictures.
Yeah,
but
he's pretty. You can't miss him when you see him. You know it's him. So
well, it's from behind. It's from behind.
Okay.
But it's what it's. He's got a hoodie, the black on black. Where he wears like joggers.
I think I have seen that. I think I have seen that picture. I've seen front and back of him wearing that outfit. So yeah, okay. I got you.
It just, I do believe. I mean, I have no problem saying it. People can say, "Oh, Lana," but Denise called that 132. She cleared up. That's awesome. Denise called that 132. I still stand by what I'm saying, and I believe a phone call came in before then. Whether it was Denise, I would be protecting my family as well. I think the world of the Gonzalez family. I think the world of all of these families, because nobody would ever know how to be. But I'm just telling you, at the end of the day, there's a phone call like that went out, in my opinion, because I saw the way that Steve was in that interview, and he wanted protocols to change. because he knew about something
Yeah,
way
absolutely.
earlier. So unless you're going to sit here and tell me that Steve acted that way to throw law enforcement under the bus, I don't think so.
The interview that Steve gave, sitting on the bench in front of the police station. Okay, I know we've seen them all. I've showed them all. I know you've showed them all. There was something in him that told me that he knew something pretty deep. Okay, and I still this is why I'm telling you this, because which after watching that interview, I mean, it was where he said, I have the right to this, I paid for this, all that stuff in that interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like early on they knew a lot of things that none of us obviously knew. And then I also noticed, though, that's why I'm bringing this up, is afterwards there was an interview or two after that he completely changed. And now the one that we just saw with for Kaylee's birthday, he was completely different. Like it's almost like he's, and I hate saying this because I'm the same as you. I absolutely love this family.
Mm-hmm.
I would do anything for them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It feels to me like he's being regulated in a sense, because when he was asked for that's something else I wanted your opinion on. When they asked his opinion on what the motive was, what he said is not
Jealousy.
something that Steve would ever have said, in my opinion. I couldn't
That
grab.
fits the incel. That just fits the incel.
Right, and
The
that's
jealousy
not what this
thing.
is.
I,
Yeah,
I don't know how you can become jealous of somebody in such a small window of time. But also he said it in a way of like it was like he was jealous of Kaylee and Maddie's love. But also I played this back and I said they didn't ask him that question 1v1.
no,
They asked the question from the studio, and then they played a clip, so we don't really get to see how
is that really what it
they.
was?
Oh
Yeah.
hell yeah!
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I
I
called
can figure
bullshit on
that.
that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
that, and
I
I was
got
like,
you.
these people could, and
They
I
do
like,
that a lot. You're right.
yeah,
Okay.
you want to clip shit, then
I
that's
don't
why
know
I
why
loved Chronicles of Olivia's, what she did.
her interview and
She
stuff.
asked the question, she let them speak, and then you're hearing everything.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, we waited all day. I knew about things from my family.
Yeah.
Okay, from my family 6 hours before they came here. And before that it was 10. And but it was all about that we need protocols to change. Protocols need to change.
Yeah.
They live an hour and a half away from where that happened. They
Hmm.
were notified within 3 hours, of the way that the way that it was said, like the niece called at 1:32.
Right.
They were notified by 4:45, and they're an hour and a half away from the crime. The coroner wasn't even in there yet.
No.
So
No.
what protocols need to change? That's what I was trying to explain to people. I'm like,
I get it.
I'm not trying to say that the need, it's about what he said
Right.
and
Right.
his words. And it was, he went hard about it. And I
Hmm.
believe you have to take it one of two ways. Either you're throwing law enforcement under the bus and you're not being truthful. Okay.
Yeah.
They waited all these hours.
Right.
Or then you're totally just making something up. Or you have to say, hey, it felt to us that there was all these hours going by. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And that we
Yeah.
weren't getting any answers. Well, then
Right.
I have no problem saying then I would have gotten in my car and drove there.
Yeah. I
If
would
I
have.
want any answer that I want, I'm going to go ahead and drive there. And
Right.
they can say whatever reason why they didn't, and they're entitled to that. And people can say, "Oh, Lana, how could you say that?" Well, I don't know. How could I not say it? I know what I would do is I would get in the car and I would drive there. I'm allowed to say what I think that I would do.
Sure.
You tell me that my kid is possibly unconscious, or that Maddie is. So I got two kids that I love.
Yeah.
And I hear that possibly one of them could be the unconscious person. Yeah, then either one I'm going for. It doesn't fucking matter. I need to get down there to figure out what the hell is going on, because I'm about to bust some people's faces in.
No, you're. Yep.
I mean, I
That's
got
what we
some
do.
problems here. Because
Unless
this is,
you already know that unless you already know that there's nothing you can do ahead of that time. You know what I mean? And right. So, because I would have been in the car too. That's the parent I am. And yeah, 100%. And I watched that show you did on that. I understood what you were trying to say. It just, I don't know. I don't know what to think or feel on that part of that. A lot of emotion going on. Yeah. And I get that too. Daniel says they were notified at 1:32. There's a lot of emotion going on when they were there. Right. No, I understand that completely. And I imagine we would all have that emotion. You know, we can't, I guess you can say, or we could say that we would do something and then not really know to what it, oh, how am I trying to say this? That we would do a specific thing, but then maybe not do it.
I'll speak for myself on that.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that Olivia did the interview on December 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Olivia did not do the interview with the family right as this was happening. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. This was 7 weeks later that the interview, had happened. So I think at that point, you're going to know when and how long you waited. And to throw law enforcement under the bus, it's either you threw law enforcement under the bus or it really happened. And and the niece may have called at 1:32, but I'm sorry, my money is still on the fact that they got a phone call before 911, and I'm taking that until trial starts. And if I'm wrong, I have no problem saying it. Just like how Steve said, he was wrong about law enforcement and they got the guy and all that stuff. He can have that opinion. Well, my opinion is that I saw this man for 6 or 7 weeks out there, advocating that he wants the truth about his daughter, and that stuff was messed up, right? And he did a raw interview that was 7 weeks later, and he was adamant that protocols needed to change because all these hours had gone by.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if in fact your niece was called at 1:32, and that's when you first heard about it, only 3 hours had passed. I have a problem with anybody that's going to throw law enforcement under the bus because we need law enforcement.
Agree. I agree.
Without law enforcement, this is going to be a crazy world. Okay.
Yeah.
So all that I'm trying to say is that, wait a second, hold on. Wait, so 6 to 10 hours beforehand, that means you got a phone call way beforehand. And I do believe that you did. And maybe it wasn't the niece. Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe you want to cover for your niece. I'm just going off of that. I don't believe that Steve is going to lie about that.
I don't either.
Because then you're going to say things like, why would you say that protocols need to change and that law enforcement, day 6, you're emphasizing that. That.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what the whole interview during that portion was about.
Mm-hmm.
If protocols need to change, things need to change. Okay.
Well,
if law enforcement was at your door at 4:30 and 4:45, which I believe that they were, you were notified rather quickly to the point that you were notified before, like I said, the coroner went in there.
Yes.
And so, and this was 7 weeks later. This interview was not an emotional thing. Okay. This is not what this was about. I always fact check stuff. I found that Olivia, the sister, she was referring to the Argonaut updating their Twitter, and it said that the roommates and neighbors were being interviewed. That's where she got that. So I was like, check, boom. So I'm going through and just, all of these things, add up except for this one right here, which is, hey, I was notified and you guys, it was all these hours. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Right.
And you're throwing law enforcement on the bus. Again, this was 7 weeks later that this interview took place. Okay. This is not emotional at that point. You want everybody out there to have timelines and timestamps. And guess what? I believe that you guys do. You guys are IT. You know how to, you told me, take a pen out, take a paper out, everyone needs to help. This is not a one-man job. All of that stuff. And then boom, you're upset with law enforcement because why? But now, it is what it is. And I stand by what I said. And I will stand by what I said because I'm telling you, it's going to come out that maybe it was not the niece that called. I believe that somebody did call. I believe that something was said that morning before 911.
Absolutely. I understand. Absolutely understand.
And that is consistent with everything that my other sources have told me. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. The G's were also adamant about, I'm sorry, but you're never going to say that protocols need to change if it was only a 3 hour, 3 hours to be notified. And you live an hour and a half away. Think about that.
That's pretty that's not actually that bad. Yeah, no, I get it.
You know
But
what I'm saying? And
yeah,
you're not going to make such a big stink about it that you're talking about, that you're so irate with law enforcement.
right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, there was definitely a problem with that in his mind. You could see that.
Oh, that's what the whole interview was about.
Right. Yeah, he was definitely was upset
It's just
about
what
that.
it's about. And maybe again, I'm only going by his words, and I believe is like you gave that interview. You saw it before it went out there. You would have been like, I mean,
Yes.
I hope that somebody would have been like, "Oh my God, you were talking about that. We got this 6 hours beforehand, or 8, or even 10."
Right.
Nobody's going to say to anybody like, "Hey, if the niece called at 1:30, law enforcement's there at 4:30, guys. You didn't wait 3 hours." And I'm sorry, I would be very, very polite about it and say, "Hey, I was doing my time because that's what you." That's what this takes. Like, I'm sorry, but when you're talking about an investigation and you want help from people, I'm going to be so loving about it. And I'm going to say, hey, are you sure that you waited that long? Because guess what? Look at this. If you
Yeah.
said that you waited 8 or 10 hours before that you heard from them, I'm
Right.
like, wait a second, dude. You got to call like 9 or 10. Or you maybe want to check your phone records on that.
Well,
Or
I
did
mean,
somebody else call? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can say that when I was watching that interview, that I know, knowing what he's talking about and all that, and at this point where we're talking about it, he was obviously like very upset and passionate. Christy had to tell him to calm down. He was getting like blown up over it. You know what I mean? So it was something he had a true, hardcore feeling about. So it couldn't have just changed overnight. So that's, yeah, and I can see what you're saying with that now.
you guys, the drunk turkey says, in that situation, 3 hours can feel like days. They were not interviewed in that situation. They were not interviewed that day or the next day or the day after. This was a set up interview with Chronicles of Olivia that took place 7 weeks later. Okay.
Mhm.
You cannot go and have somebody raw edit, then you show them what it is, and here it is that you're attacking law enforcement. Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not biased. People can say like, Lana, you always hate on law enforcement. Well, here you go, guys. I'm gonna show you that I don't hate on law enforcement. I'm having law enforcement's back here. Like, you threw them under the bus in a pre-recorded raw video that you had the options to say, oh, hey, wait, hold on. That's not what I meant to say. Like, these protocols need to, maybe the protocols need to change about something else, but I'm telling you, it's not about being notified, because you were notified at 4:30 and your niece called at 1:30. Even if you go based off of the 911 call, that's 4.5 hours later, but you live an hour and a half away, and it's still before the coroner went in. You know what I mean? So why is law enforcement being hated on? So I'm standing by what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. It was a 7
I
weeks later. Period.
No, I understand what you're saying. I do.
Um,
It's my biggest thing, and I know that's what we all want in the end of this, is for these, for there to be justice, for true justice for everybody that's in part involved in this, I should say, to have to deal with the consequences. End of story. So,
yeah.
I do need to.
Yeah, actually, I have to wrap up because I'm actually traveling your way, buddy.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So
All right. Well, like I said, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to meet up one of these days. We're very close.
For sure. For sure.
I'm surprised we haven't talked before this.
I know. I didn't even know that you were from Ohio. That's why I was like,
Oh, yeah.
My God.
Yeah,
like, I love it.
The heart of it all, right?
The gem of it all, right?
That's it. Yeah, we'll have to get together, even on here. Maybe one of these days we'll do it. Whatever you got time.
For sure. I will email you.
Sounds great.
Okay.
All right, hon. Great show once again. Everybody
Thank
have
you very
a great
much.
rest of
Yes.
your day.
Happy Sunday to everybody. Everybody be safe out there. Be kind to one another.
Amen. And I will see everyone tomorrow. Lana, have a wonderful night, hon.
Okay. You too, babe.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Again, guys, don't take this the wrong way. What I'm trying to say is that I am not a biased human being. And I'm sorry, but law enforcement, if you didn't know until 1:30 and law enforcement's there at 4:30, 4:45, then I don't know why 7 weeks later you'd be, harping on them like that. If, and you would know about how you felt 7 weeks later. you would be able to, like, maybe you say that stuff in the moment, you know, November 16th, 18th, 19th, 20th, you know, December 27th, when that happened. No, I don't buy it. I do believe that, a ton of emotions do go on. No doubt about it. I just had emotions when I found out that Sheldon Jeter Jr. is going to get a new, or actually, I should say, a first ever evidentiary hearing off of the juror misconduct. But that was a pre-recorded, you know, documentary, and it came out even after Brian Koberger was arrested, and I just, you know, that is what it is. I think that they were really upset about something to do with protocol. And I believe it's because there was a phone call made earlier. And maybe if it wasn't the niece, there's somebody else. And I will stand by that. Till next time, guys. Take care.